Hi everyone, my name is Jayleen Lee and I am one of the interns from Cisco Meraki and I'm here to teach y'all about how web apps work. You guys have probably used these every day, every time you go to a website on your computer, on your phone, or on your iPad, or if you're playing games on your laptop, you've always interacted with web apps. So I wanted to give a really brief overview about what these are and how they work. So really the basics is just the purpose of a web app is to allow users to interact with the interface or product from the web. And as you know, whenever you open up your laptop, you type in something in order to go to that website. So if I want to buy something from Amazon, I go to amazon.com. Maybe for your case, you probably will be watching videos on YouTube. So you type in like youtube.com and then the website loads. But it's just like, how does that website actually show up? Like, what is that magic going on? So it really boils down to like these three languages called HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. I know those sound really foreign to you, and you're probably like, what is a language that I'm talking about? But that's basically like a coding language is a language that computers understand so that they know what they should display to your screen. And what you see on the screen is like what you see when you go to the website. So don't worry too much about like how exactly it works. This presentation, I actually originally made it for college students, so I made it so that so that you guys can also understand it as well on a very basic level. So I will talk about like HTML first. So that is one of the coding languages, the main coding languages that is used for many websites. It is called Hypertext Markup Language. You don't really need to know that, but that if you just wanted to know what it stands for. But it lays out the content and basic structure of the website. And so here's an example of kind of what that code looks like. They are represented by these little tags. It looks like this. And you can put stuff inside these tags to define like elements. So each thing on the page is called an HTML element. And that's what builds up the website page. So yeah, and in this example, I made a very basic website using just HTML. So you can see I added like the word a heading. You can see that displayed here. That's just like a heading tag. You also can see a paragraph tag. That's kind of just where all the text goes on here. There's also like a bullet point list. And I just listed my favorite drinks right here. So it's coffee, tea, and milk. You can also put like tables. That's what this thing is for. So there's a lot more complicated things that you can do in HTML. But yeah, but it kind of just tells you like how all of this translate into something that you see on your screen. You can also put images, as you can see. I put a Pikachu right here. And you can also put buttons. So this is just a screenshot, but if I had the actual page up, I could click on this button and it would do something. So the next thing that is used a lot for like websites is something called CSS. And so CSS stands for Cascading Style Sheet. Don't worry, I also don't really know what the word cascading means in this sense, but that's just what it stands for. But really, it just makes things look pretty. So as you remember from this page, this website I have kind of looks not that appealing, would you say? There's no really colors on here besides a picture, and there's nothing that gets changed. So what CSS does is it makes things look pretty and it tells the computer how it wants to display the HTML. And so this is kind of how the code looks like. Basically, I want to change all these kind of elements in HTML to be the color blue, and I also want to change the font of all of the elements to be a certain size. And so the last one is JavaScript. JavaScript is a coding language that makes things move on your website. So you might have seen this game on Chrome where you make this dinosaur jump. So that is done in JavaScript. And this is the one that's most like an actual coding language. Then that's definitely you don't need to like understand, but this is like example of what it looks like at the bottom. So basically you can control how all the different elements that you have on your page move. And I think the best way to explain is like with the game. You're probably very familiar with like website games, so that's why I put this dinosaur here. And if you want to think about it like this on a very like top level of how all these three languages work together, I'm going to use like this skeleton analogy. So basically, the HTML is kind of like the bones of a human, and then the JavaScript is like the muscles. It controls how the bones move and how everything works together. And then for CSS, that's kind of like your skin / your clothes. kind of shows like how the person actually looks like on the outside. And so yeah, those are all the things that work together in order to build a website. So here's a picture of a fun meme that I thought was great for this presentation. So yeah, so that's all the things that come together to make a website that you see on your page. So examples that you probably know of is like YouTube. I know I'm kind of old now, but like for you guys, like that Agar.io is a super popular like web game. And then also Roblox. I know my brother plays a lot of that. Those are all done with the 3 languages that I talked about. But of course, they're a lot more complicated than what I just said. But that's why we have people who work in these areas and they make things look very, very nice by working with those 3 things together. So yeah, I hope that helped you understand like kind of what websites are and what web applications do, and how like when you go to YouTube, like why or how it looks the way it looks. And yeah, so thank you for listening.